Guys, it's Maria with Meet Me at Zero, and I want to thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing to my YouTube channel. I ask that you always pray for me, that if anything of this resonates with you and you think it would be useful to someone, that you share it with them, or you can share it on your page. I haven't done a video in probably 2.5 months. I will start by saying that 2020, it started with a bang, but now I know that it wasn't just me, it was all of us. So I haven't done a video. I've lost my voice off and on since the year started. I've been on prednisone and antibiotics 3 times since January. At the turn of the year, I was sick. I don't know if it was the virus or not, but my asthma flared up to the point that probably approximately 3 weeks ago, I was taking 10 medications to be comfortable. I went to the allergist to get tested. She changed my medication around and she said, I think it'll do the trick. I had an appointment with my pulmonologist last week, and she thinks that what I'm on should work. If it doesn't, then she suggested a injection called Dupixent. I'm supposed to have a breathing test done, but with COVID, it's making it hard to do the normal things. So 2020 for me, and I'm just going to share this real quick, and then I'm going to get into the topic. 2020 started with a bang. New Year's was very different. I got sick early on with a cold. I don't know if it was the virus or not. I went on a cruise that was a cruise from hell, considering it was my first cruise. I had so many expectations. I wanted to see the beaches. It was cold. It was rainy. I was seasick. They had to reroute the cruise. So I did get much rest, which I needed. So all that is unraveling my health, personal issues, that also decided to jump into what was going on. And I started working from home in February. Bella's been sick. Her health is deteriorating. And so I'm just blessed to be home with her. In the last week, it's the best I've felt in a long time. And this virus, this whole, it's fascinating to me how God, in his infinite wisdom, puts the same message in his people, in the church. And I'm not talking about a specific denomination. I'm talking about people that love God from their heart, that have a vision, a mission, that are aware of their purpose. So all this is unraveling. The virus comes up. Now they want me to get a pneumonia shot. Then we have this racism that's going on in the country. We have a very heavy political back and forth going on. And so I was thinking, what would God want me to talk about? And I had several things that I wanted to share. But what came to mind was the movie Infinity War. As an American country, we make movies, and every single movie has a good and bad. And it's baffling to me that we still call religious people Christians or people of faith. We have it so entwined, and it's not the same. And so what came to mind was Infinity War and Thanos. And let me explain. I love Marvel movies. My favorite one is Iron Man. I love Doctor Strange as well, and Black Panther. I love the whole storyline, the costumes, everything. But I'm going to talk about this movie, but I'm going to bring it to you in the spiritual sense in the translation of what's going on now. So the title of this video is going to be 2020 Thanos against humanity. If you have not watched all the movies, I'm just going to do a quick review, a quick explanation. Every superhero has an enemy, and he will fight the enemy on part 1 and he will win, and on part 2 the enemy comes back harder and he will win, and in part 3 the enemy comes back harder and now he partners up with Thor. There's a partnership going on to take him out. In Infinity War, if you have not seen it, please see it. And if you've seen it, I want you to watch it again after you finish this video and tell me if you see things as they are today. Thanos would be the devil, the enemy of the souls. Who knows? Time is running out. And 2020, I really believe that God's in control of everything. And I also believe there's a perfect will of God and the permissive will of God. And some things have to take place to make us uncomfortable, the church, to wake us up, because we got so comfortable in going to church. We get so comfortable in our life and getting a better car. We get so comfortable in the frivolous and caught up in the world that we're giving God crumbs, and the time is pressing on to the end and we have much work to do. So Thanos and Infinity War, it's a phenomenal movie. It's long, but it's phenomenal. And this is what I thought. Each of us who love God and believe in God is a superhero in some way. We each have a talent and a gift, and we are a force in the spiritual realm. Thanos has to convince somebody who's good to go to the dark side to find out what the good people are doing. And he just has to plant a seed, and it's always about deceit. Versus the superheroes, they're always trying to keep humanity safe. They're always trying to better the quality of life, and they work together. Sometimes there's a little ego that flares, but they really do work together, and each of them have a different strength. So in this movie, you can see when each of them at some point is fighting Thanos. Not one of them can beat Thanos. They can only beat Thanos if all of them collectively are working together to take out the enemy. So here in 2020, the enemy has us divided in every single arena. And hate is so heavy in the air that it doesn't take much for people to go back and forth. And we are creating enemies over foolishness, because it's all foolishness. When it comes down to it, we are on a mission. If you're a Christian, we are here on a mission. There is a bigger mission other than my personal agenda, my personal opinion, wanting to be right, wanting to be offended. There's a bigger picture at hand, and such great opportunity. You have people complaining that, they need to go to church. And I get the whole thing about going to church and socializing. But for some people, it's just that. It's just socializing. And you have to fight your own personal fight in the spiritual world. So salvation is very individual, which means that I have to make a decision to serve God. You have to make a decision to serve God. The body of Christ has to come together to complete a mission. People from California, people from Florida, people from all over the world have to be in sync, in one accord, in spirit and mind to accomplish the mission at hand. Point simple. We don't compare what my gifts are compared to your gifts, because let me just tell, there's levels to this. So you overcome something in the spirit that's tough now. Your next battle is going to be worse because it attempts to take your butt out. And sometimes you have to call on your friends that are at a different level to pull you to the next level. And when you overcome that next level, you celebrate and rejoice, because that third level is going to come harder. And that's just part of getting closer to God. And this doesn't end. Just like Infinity Wars, the movie, it never ends between good and evil. It never ends. Evil attempts to always win, but good always wins. And the ultimate battle, the ultimate fight, is when the return of the king comes back for his bride, which comprises what? The head, the hands. So all of us can't be the hands. Some of us have to be the feet. You have to be humble enough to be a servant. So in the midst of all the chaos that's going on in the world today, how much have you invested in spreading love? How much have you invested in checking on someone? How much have you invested in your life with God, in your prayer life, seeking your purpose? If you don't know your purpose, this is like the perfect time. And I really believe that God is sifting the church, that we need to get ourselves together, that we talk a pretty talk and a religious talk for too long. We talk about, this nation was established on Christian values, and I'm still trying to figure that one out. But I really do believe that we know a lot, and we are going to be accounted for a lot. And the religious mindset, we check up the box and we think we have the right to judge people, and we get lost in denominations. We get lost in whether women can wear pants or not pants. And at the end of the day, the battle is on full-fledged. It's been declared. And we are over here arguing and fighting over nonsense. I can assure you that there are a lot of people, because I have this conversation with several people. This is a time that God is seeking intimacy. He's seeking that one-on-one. Salvation is by yourself. You were born by yourself. You will die by yourself. You will enter the gates of heaven by yourself. And it's so important that we don't lose ourselves and cross the line of hate and want to call it justice, because we're just as bad as the other side. And we really need to pray for unity of the body, because in the midst of the chaos, the church should be shining. We should be the light. And it's not that we're perfect, and it's not that we pretend. We have to be broken, and we have to battle ugly fights to earn our way. And in Infinity War, he's collecting the Infinity Stones, and he needs all of them because his plan is to exterminate, I want to say it's like a third of the population or something like that. He wants to cleanse the earth, and he has this idea. And it takes Iron Man, the way I see him is, he's the brain, he's the smart. And it takes Doctor Strange, which a lot of people would say, oh my God, he's into voodoo, he can see the future. But the way I see it is, he's the spiritual. And it takes our mind and our spirit have to be equally strong to fight the good fight. That's why the Bible says, renew your mind, suit up. But it doesn't leave the mind behind. Our emotions will betray us. It destroys. It destroys sometimes, or it tries to redirect. And so God will allow some things to happen. And we will pray that, God, please make this go away. God, I want to go back to my other life. God, fix this. And sometimes he doesn't want to fix it the way we want it fixed. He needs to fix it in a different way that will have a lasting impact. And the things we're seeing in our country had to come up, which means that somebody had to, domino effect, bring this to the forefront to get not only the United States, but get international attention. And people rallied against police brutality. And for those of you who didn't know, I was an officer for Charleston County. I am not against the police. I have family members and I have tons of friends that are police officers. However, there are police officers that are doing things that are not right. And they are not fired. They are not held accountable for those actions. And nobody has the right to take the life of another person. I don't care what they've done. Only God has the power to take life. And we take life so lightly. And we damage people. And we think we can, we are the prosecutor, the judge, and we forget that we're not right. And sometimes we feel like because people can't see what my weakness is or my sin is, we have the right to accuse or we have the right to judge someone else because we can see what their issue is. But let me tell you, what you can't see is harder to overcome than when you can see. And I have great respect for people that have drug addictions. I have great respect for people that are low in life. Because if you overcome, you make a bigger impact than I could. And you have to fight a hard fight when you are into drugs, when you neglect your children. It's a real war, and this is for every person. I don't care if you go to church or not. Everybody has an internal war of good and bad, and the good is God. Whether you believe in God or not, the good is God. The goodness of God is everywhere. When you take a walk in the morning and I'm looking at creation, I am in awe of his beauty, of what he did. When I see the animals vanishing and disappearing and people call it, whatever, I said, oh my God, this is what we've done collectively as people. And in 2020, this is our time to get right. This is our time to get right, and everything happens for a reason, and everybody wants so pressed to go back to their old life. And God might be saying, you know what? You're not going anywhere because you still don't get it. It's mid-year and we still don't get it. So let me just encourage you to take time and pray. I mean, pray. And I am not perfect. I am far from perfect. But I love God above anything. And my intentions are always good. And when you know much, you're accountable for much. And there is too much going on for us to be complacent. In the spirit world, we should be getting closer to God. We need to be asking God in the midst of all this foolishness. I keep saying, and I've repeated this several times, we're living like in the Bible days when you have to pray to God to send a cloud during the day and a fire at night to sort the foolishness that's going on. The technology doesn't help. We see things that are not true, that are being said and seem like somebody's saying them. We believe so much of what's going on. We believe the devil before we believe God and his promises. We search for the foolishness versus searching for God's clarity. And there's no one like him. And in serving God, there is no peachy and good road. And there is pain, there's suffering, there's struggle, and a constant battle to the day we die. And I just want to encourage you to pray, to seek God, and to see what is your superpower. What are you supposed to be doing for the kingdom as we unite with other people from other places, and everybody individually in their house is having church? That when this is over, we can come out united. We need to be shining in the midst of all this craziness, not adding to it. We are the hope. Jesus is the hope of the world. So I want to thank you for listening. I am probably going to do a 40-day fast with my church, which means I'm not posting a video for 40 days. But I will be praying for you, and if you need me to pray for you, please. You can inbox me, you can like this post, you can share it. But I'm going to join my church because I really think that these are very pressing times and we're running out of time. So meet me at 0 next time. Be a blessing to someone in the midst of this. Rise above the madness to show God love. I will talk to you next time. Meet me at 0.